Excuse me, sir? I'm looking for a job. My motto is, if you want to win the lottery, you have to make the money to buy a ticket. You have to make the money to buy a ticket. You have to make the money to buy a ticket!
Jacob Benjamin Gyllenhaal, sin režisera Stevena Gyllenhaala i scenaritkinje Naomi Foner, također i rođeni brat glumice Maggie Gyllenhaal. Prvi susret sa filmom imao je sa svega 11 godina, kada se našao u maloj ulozi u komediji City Slickers iz 1991. godine. Jake Gyllenhaal igrao je u preko 50 filmova u svojoj karijeri, pokazujući opseg svojih glumačkih sposobnosti i dubinu likova koje tumači. Donnie Darko, jedna od najznačajnijih uloga u karijeri Jakea Gyllenhaala. Ova uloga ga je predstavila kao glumca koji je spreman da preuzme teške, izazovne likove. U ovom filmu Jake igra tinejdžera, mladog Donija, koji se bori sa pitanjima o sudbini, smrti i stvarnosti. Jake je svojim tumačenjem Donije uspeo da prikaže psihološku dubinu lika, balansirajući među paranormalnog ponašanja i senzibilnosti.
It was an interesting story about growing up, that it was a different turn on it, a different manifestation of it, but at least it was the sort of anti-teen movie. There was a time when all these movies about coming into adulthood or whatever that period of time in your life might be were about parties and sticking things into pies, and that was a movie that was sort of more about the psychological journey of adolescence and the confusion of all of it.
Absolutely.
So I think that kind of resonates in a different way and it's sort of this, I've seen it's a rite of passage in one way or another at a certain point. Different people's lives are like, oh, I remember watching that.
Yeah.
You know what? And that's what it was for me, you know.
Najnagrađivanija uloga Jakea Gyllenhaala dolazi nam iz filma Brokeback Mountain, gdje tumači farmera Jacka Twista koji se zaljubljuje u svog kolegu Enisa Delmara, koji igra Heath Ledger. Film istražuje temu ljubavi, identiteta i društvenih očekivanja. A Gyllenhaal je briljirao u svojoj ulozi prikazivajući emotivnu borbu svog lika, koji mora da se nosi sa potiskivanjem svoje seksualnosti i ljubavi prema Enisu. Ova uloga donela je Jakeu nominacije za Oscara i potvrdila njegovu sposobnost da glumi u filmovima koji se bave dubokim emotivnim temama.
Amazing how the world has changed, because at that time, when was it, 10 years ago, a lot of actors didn't want to play a gay role. Mm-hmm. Did you feel that pressure?
Now everybody does. Did I feel pressure? No. I think maybe naively, but also just I'd been brought up a different way, I think maybe, I brought up in an elementary school where, my first few grades, I remember being specifically told that my teachers were gay, I was just that age, and that was just how it was, and my parents were very, that's how I was raised. It was like super progressive. And so to me, it's just something I took for granted, weirdly. At the time, I think now generations, like younger generations, do take that for granted in a lot of ways. I mean, I don't think that takes away from the struggle of identity and what that is. I mean, but the struggle for identity is everybody's struggle, no matter what it is.
Do you struggle for identity?
I'm an actor. I mean, it's totally relatable.
Zodiak. U ovom filmu Gyllenhaal tumači novinara Roberta Graysmitha koji postaje opsednut razotkrivanjem identiteta serijskog ubice. Ovaj film zasnovan je na stvarnim događajima, istražuje opasnost od opsesije i gubitka kontrole nad vlastitim životom. Gyllenhaalov lik je intelektualac koji se suočava sa psihološkim posljedicama svog istraživanja, a njegova uloga je bila posebno značajna zbog toga što se Gyllenhaal uspješno uklopio u psihološki kompleksnog i introspektivnog novinara. Film je kritički bio jako cijenjen, a pored Gyllenhaala tu je sjajna glumačka ekipa poput Hugh Jackmana i Marka Ruffala.
Character and you, Robert, in a position of going from this curiosity about these killings to this intense obsession.
Well, I didn't know I was obsessed until this man portrayed me, and I didn't realize I was deferential and shy, but he nailed it. Everybody from that time period says.
U Love and the Other Drugs, Gyllenhaal tumači Jamie-a, mladog i šarmantnog farmaceuta koji razvije odnos sa Maggie koju tumači Anne Hathaway, ženom sa Parkinsonovom bolešću. Ovaj film je romantična komedija, ali se bavi ozbiljnim temama, poput bolesti i ljubavi. Gyllenhaal je ovdje pokazao svoju sposobnost da kombinuje humor i emocije, dok istovremeno istražuje složenost odnosa u suočavanju sa bolešću. Njegova uloga bila je zabavna, ali je također imala duboku emocionalnu notu, koja je dodala težinu samom filmu.
I mean, we're all really proud of this movie, and
it was a really special experience for all of us. So it's kind of, it makes it, I think it's like a commercial movie, but I think it also has like really important issues and good stuff in it too. So
that looks pretty funny and fun, but it's actually a very deep movie.
it is. We like to call it an emotional comedy.
Emotional comedy, I like that. How long did you guys work on that? For a while, right?
We found it. It was like a diamond in the rough. But yeah, it's an emotional comedy. It's emotional and it's funny and I think that's rare, particularly for something romantic.
And working with Anne again?
Yep. Getting naked with Anne again.
What's up with all the nakedness in this movie?
I don't know. I can't tell you about it. You're just gonna have to go see it.
Oh, come on.
U filmu Prisoners, Gyllenhaal tumači detektiva Lokija, policajca koji istražuje nestanak dve devojčice. U ovom napetom trileru Gyllenhaal se pojavljuje u ulozi lika koji je puno suptilniji nego što bi se to očekivalo za tipičnog detektiva. Njegov lik je ozbiljan i pokazuje znakove unutrašnje borbe. Prisoners je film koji istražuje mračnu stranu roditeljskih instikata i pravde, a Gyllenhaal je uspio da stvori lik koji je istovremeno staložen i emotivno angažovan. Ova uloga donala mu je brojne pohvale zbog toga što je uspio da stvori lika koji je iznutra vrlo emotivan, ali spolja vrlo hladan.
Detective Loki, I think, was somewhat of a juvenile criminal himself. He was an orphan pretty young, and I don't think he has, I know that he doesn't have parents that he knew. I think he was sort of shuffled in and out of foster homes and found himself in, juvenile detention system, and then got kind of picked up at a certain point and found his way into another institution, which was really the police department. And so I think that's what makes him so good at a younger age to, at solving crimes like this. He's not really afraid of getting into that world, and he's seen many minds like that before.
U Nightcrawleru 2014. godine Jake Gyllenhaal donosi svoju najistaknutiju i uznemirujuću ulogu. On tumači Louisa Bluma, ambicioznog, ali moralno upitnog pojedinca koji ulazi u svet kriminalističkog novinarstva. Lou je hladnokrvan, manipulativan i potpuno fokusiran na vlastiti uspeh, bez obzira na moralne posljedice svojih postupaka. Gyllenhaal je potpuno ušao u ovu ulogu. Njegov fizički izgled, ponašanje i psihološki profil su savršeno izbalansirani da stvore lik koji je fascinantan i zastrašujući u isto vreme.
Who is Lou Bloom?
He's a thief, a sort of petty thief at the beginning of the movie. He runs across this accident scene and he sees these stringers, these guys who film accidents and crimes and stuff for the local news. And he finds his calling in an instant. There's a special type of personality that can do this job. You have to love the night.
Or hate the sun.
Or hate the sun, yeah. I actually found myself really disappointed when the sun would come up as I was playing this character. The sort of transformation that I went through to play this character is very different from many of the roles that I played in the past. It was a physical one, it was a mental one, but more than anything, it just brought me into a world that was different than any role that I have ever played.
How'd you feel about the way he crossed the line?
I think Lou Bloom's opinion of that is that he's an artist. My opinion is that I think all the things he says are right, but I think the things he does inevitably do cross that line. There were pieces of me that are in Lou.
We're very good friends. Some say best friends. And you deny it. But I'm curious. The name Gyllenhaal, I never know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It is a Swedish name, is it not?
It is a Swedish name.
So shouldn't it be like Gyllenhaal?
Oh my God. I have
Gyllenhaal.
The only two places that is pronounced correctly, my last name, like you did just now, is in Sweden and in IKEA.
IKEA.
And I really have to say, that is actually the pronunciation of my last name.